Hey guys, Aleksa here, climate dietitian, sports dietitian and nutrition coach. So last week I spoke about whether you should or should not eat before your CrossFit workout, whether you should train fasted or fed. Well, this week what I'm going to get into is what should you eat if you decide to eat something before your workout to help maximize your performance, maximize your fueling and get better outcomes for you. So let's get into it. So one of the main questions I get from new CrossFitters who come and see me to be their nutrition coach is, what should I be eating before my CrossFit workout to maximize performance, to start the fueling process and potentially help in subsequent recovery? So today that's what we're going to discuss. I'm going to start with 3 of the considerations you need to know before you actually start answering this question for yourself. Number 1 is, what do you have accessible, or what do you simply like to eat before training? Because personal preference will dictate a lot of this. The second one, and this is a very important one, is how close to training are you actually consuming this food? Looking at timing, that's very, very important. And then third is nutritional composition of the food or the option, whatever you want to call it, that you are having before your CrossFit workout will be tremendously important when it comes to deciding what you should be consuming. And that's what we're going to delve into more deeper down later in this video. But yeah, those are the 3 main ones you got to be looking at when deciding what kind of option you should be consuming before your CrossFit workout. Really, any workout in general, you can apply this to as well. Now, as I said, the first one's pretty self-explanatory. Like personal preference, what do you have available? What do you feel like eating? What feels good? That's basically very obvious. But the other 2, nutrition kind of composition of the meal and the timing around the meal, how much time you have before your workout, they're the 2 things that we're going to go in more deeper detail now in this video to help you guys get a better understanding of what you need to be consuming to better fuel your workouts. So not to keep you guys waiting, let's go into it. Let's go to the kitchen. Let's look at the options that you guys can be, starting to trial to better perform and to kind of start the fueling process for your CrossFit workouts or just for your physical activity that you may be doing. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. So as you can see, I've got some options here just to kind of give you guys an idea of what you can be kind of consuming before your CrossFit workouts, depending on the specific considerations that we can go into in a sec. So first, you've got to decide, you've got to think about how much time do you have before your CrossFit workout, because that will dictate which one of these options is more suitable to fuel your workout, so to speak. But within that as well, you've got to be considering not only the timing, but also the nutritional composition, as I've mentioned earlier. Both of those together is how you will decide which one of these options is most suitable and most effective for fueling the specific workout you're doing and making sure you're not getting any disadvantages from eating the food, any kind of discomfort, so to speak. So let's start with if you have about 2 to 4 hours before your workout, right? You've got a couple of hours to spare. Perhaps you train in the afternoon, so it's just a normal day's work, and then you've got your CrossFit workout. Or let's say you're just a very, very early riser and you have enough time before your early CrossFit session. So what you want to be consuming in that case is generally a high carb meal, but you don't want to be too high in the proteins, the fats, or the fiber either, but you can have some leeway there compared to other times when you might be consuming the food. But generally you want to make sure it's carb rich, has some protein, and potentially a little bit of fats or fiber if you would like. Now, suitable options for this could include just a sandwich. You don't have the option here, but just a good old sandwich with a bit of like cheese, or perhaps just some meat in there, with perhaps salad if you like. That could be a good option for yourself before your workout. Another good option is like a pasta meal. So just a bowl of pasta with whatever it may be that you made it out of, different varieties, mix it up. And then obviously there's things like cereal. So I've got a couple of choices here of a cereal that you can kind of go for. Whether it's good classic Whippix or just some oats or something muesli related. Put it with a bit of milk, bit of yogurt, something like that, and you've got a meal there ready to go 2 to 4 hours before your workout. Of course, any of these options here can work for that kind of time period because they're generally all going to be well tolerated, but you have some leeway when you have a bit of more time to eat something more wholesome, such as cereal or a sandwich or a pasta meal, or perhaps even a rice meal, because your body will be able to digest it before your workout more effectively. Another good option for this time as well is maybe a smoothie, like a low-fat smoothie can work real well. Put some fruit in there, put some dairy, and just make it like a nice, delicious, quick and easy smoothie. It's really good for people that are busy and want something quick and on the go. But also it does take a bit of prep time, and you've got to consider the ingredients that you're adding to it. But smoothie is definitely a way to go. Not here, I haven't got it here to show you, but it's definitely one of the options that I would recommend for someone. Generally, for most times, most kind of time periods before your workout, a smoothie will be a pretty easy go-to that you can kind of rely on. But now let's go into if you're someone who has an early CrossFit session, right? Like a lot of my clients that see me, they do the early classes, the 5:30s or whatever it may be. Perhaps you don't have that much time before your workout. Maybe you have only 2 hours. Perhaps more often, you got maybe an hour and a half, hour, maybe even less than an hour before your workout. Now you don't want to be consuming something that's very hard to digest, because then your body's going to be kind of not in a good place when you start working out, especially with the high intensity nature of CrossFit. So you want to keep that in mind. So options for this kind of, when this is happening, when you've only got a bit of time before you work out, you want something that's, carb rich, so predominantly carbs, fast digesting ideally, so something easily digestible. You want something that's low protein, you want something that's low fiber and low fat as well, because these things will make sure that the food doesn't cause you any potential gastrointestinal distress. In theory, obviously you have to test it out yourself, but it shouldn't cause you too much gastrointestinal distress compared to if you were to say, have something like a bowl of cereal or a sandwich or something like that. So suitable options if you don't have much time before your workout, and I've got a few of them here which are fantastic options that I use personally with myself. If I'm doing CrossFit, basketball, or any kind of workout, I tend to kind of mix and match with these kind of options, and I'll go with those in a sec. But especially if you're a CrossFitter who's doing high intensity exercises, some of these options could be the right ones for you to trial and see how they work out. So let's start with one of my favorites that is my go-to, and something that I recommend a lot with my clients is classic yogurt. So I've got here the Chobani options. Any kind of low-fat yogurt will work well. I know they're on the higher side for protein, so keep that in mind. The tolerance might be a bit different, but yogurt, I find for myself at least, is a pretty easily tolerable thing to eat at least an hour or a little bit more before your workout. Potentially not right before your workout, but something like this, like an easy squeezy pouch, you can't go wrong. Another good option that I really like to go with is fruit. So you can't go wrong with a banana. You can't go wrong with some a couple of oranges to get some carbs in there. Just some fruit is a fantastic option to choose before your workout. It's easy, it's quick, it's reliable, it's inexpensive. There's always so many good things about just having some fruit, because most people can tolerate a little bit of fruit before their workout, and it gives a bit of something before they actually go to their CrossFit session. Then if you've got a little bit of time, but not too much time, you can go for something like a Up and Go. I've got here an Energize, the high protein version. You could go for the normal one that doesn't have as much protein if you find that protein's going to stay in your gut too much before your workout. But it's a really kind of easy option to go for. Of course, you've got these gels that you can go for, which is pretty much most of the carbs. And with these gels, really kind of easy way, obviously you want to test them first to see how they go with you, but really kind of easy and inexpensive ways to get some carbs in before you work out, so that you're not necessarily training on a fasted stomach. And then of course you can't leave out sports drinks. It's always a good go-to in sports nutrition. I've got here Staminade, but Powerade, Gatorade, Staminade, doesn't really matter. Any aid, it'll work. Basically a little bit of that beforehand, just gives you some carbs, no fiber, no fat, no protein, just some good old carbs to fuel your workouts can be a good option, and real kind of easy way to get some easy digestible carbs in yourself before your workout, so you get the best benefits of maximizing that fueling process. So as you can see, these are just some of the options that I have here to recommend to you guys, ones that I use with my clients that works well. If you've got a bit more time, you can go for something a bit more normal, like a normal meal, a pasta meal, rice meal, sandwich, cereal, whatever it may be. Yogurt works well no matter what, especially 2 to 4 hours with some fruit. Mix these two together, can't go wrong. If you don't have much time, obviously you want something easily digestible and quick and easy, and mostly carbs, such as maybe some carb gels, some Staminade, or just some fruit. And then obviously if those aren't suitable, you don't like those, you can try some of the other options as well. Really the point is, these are just general kind of recommendations that you want to kind of trial, because they're gonna potentially work the best way for you, but you got to trial them, right? That's the most important thing, is you got to trial these and see what works for you. Because just because Susan, let's say, tries some Whitbix beforehand and it works well for her, doesn't mean that will work well for you. So make sure it is individualized, as always. As cliche as it sounds, and as many times as I've said it, it's so important. But yeah, always trial beforehand. That's very important, guys. And I guess that brings me to like another consideration you've got to make, and I touched upon it earlier in the video, is gastrointestinal distress can be a real issue, especially with CrossFit and high intensity exercises such as that, which is why trialing is important, but why it's also important to understand how each food and timing affects you personally, so you can give it a go and do it in training before you ever try it in comp. If you are, doing some competitions, whether in CrossFit or any kind of workout or sports, always trial it in training first before you kind of give it a go in competition. Otherwise you might find that then you try it, doesn't work well, not a good time. And just to make yourself feel the best way, always trial beforehand so that in competition, you know what works, what doesn't work, and you can maximize your performance and get those results. So like I always say, do no harm to yourself, okay? No harm first. Make sure that what you're consuming is actually benefiting you or at least neutral. Anything that's causing you harm, just scrape it. Don't consider it as a strategy. Don't try it, don't push it because it's just not working for you, and that's fine. Everyone's unique. We all need individualized approaches to our nutrition, and sports nutrition is especially important to do that because of the different complexities of the sports and the different complexities of the nutrition that's involved to help you fuel and recover. So I hope that's helped you guys. I hope that's answered the question of what kind of options you can actually start trialing today to get maybe some potential increase in performance, better recovery, better fueling, and just make you feel better in the gym. I've touched upon some here. Obviously, this is not the extensive list. There is more. These are just the most common ones that I like to use and for myself and for my clients that I find works well. But of course, if you've got any questions, if you want any assistance, please guys, just reach out to me, through the socials. It's in the descriptions below. Instagram, good ones to contact me through. Send me a message. Let's chat. Let's see what we can do to help you, because I don't want you guys doing this alone. There's no extra reward for doing it alone if you need the help. So just reach out, guys, if you want to. Of course, you can leave a comment below as well. That's a real good way for me. I'll contact you as soon as possible regarding that. Share your experiences below. Any options that you guys like to use. Make it an open space. Make it a conversation. And thank you for listening, guys. Hope it's brought you great value. Please like and subscribe to my channel and share with your fellow CrossFitters, share with family, your friends, anyone who you feel will benefit from the stuff that I've been talking about today and all my videos really. And until next time, guys, thank you.
Hey guys, just a quick little video just to finish off. I know I said there, with the whole yogurt and the up and goes being, higher protein foods, but you're still able to have them within the hour, before your workout. Keep in mind when I'm saying go low protein, I mean don't go high protein, like a lot of meats and 30 grams of protein plus. A bit of protein in something that's easy digestible, such as the yogurts and the up and goes, are perfectly okay as long as you're not consuming it right before your workout, within half an hour or something like that. An hour or a bit more, before your workout, those are generally tolerated by a lot of people. Obviously, this will depend on your own tolerance, remember, individualization. But just wanted to make sure that I wasn't kind of contradicting myself, so to speak. It's not that, that's a really high protein food. It's got, it's a good, decent amount of protein in those, but it's easy digestible and it suits most people as a pre-workout snack, especially if it's around an hour or so before your workout. So hope that clarifies that in case you were confused about what I was saying. So have a good one, guys. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it brought you some great value. So what I want to say is if you are struggling with nutrition, if you want someone to coach you and guide you, please reach out. I've got some spots available in my nutrition coaching program, which is one-on-one private nutrition coaching with myself personally, where I'll help you on your journey to achieve that body that you desire or that peak performance that you seek, whatever it may be. I'm sure I can help you. So if you've got any questions, DM me through my socials, as I said in the descriptions below, or go straight to the link in the description to apply for my nutrition coaching program. It's for action takers only. So if you're an action taker, if you want to change your life, if you want to get better at nutrition, if you want to get the body you want, then seek my help. Let me help you reach your peak potential soon. Thanks, guys.